Name is Sharon Wee, and I am the Managing Director and Head of Property and Casualty Underwriting for Asia Pacific for Swiss Re. The insurance industry really had to think differently in terms of how it had to look after its employees, but also then its customers, and I guess create the same experience for them via very different channels. So that's the first thing. If you look at it from an economic perspective, there's a correlation between insurance penetration and insurance growth with GDP growth. So considering that we're going into a global recession, you'll see an economic impact as well on the industry. What was really interesting though was we did a consumer survey, and consumers actually had a much better and higher understanding of insurance, and the demand for insurance or understanding more actually did go up. So more people bought online because there was an implication that you can meet face to face and the like. So while there are some impacts to the industry that you can look at as negative, there's also a positive impact in terms of people understanding more the economic resilience insurance can bring to their lives, and to actually look it up online, so that digital experience actually also has materialized much faster than initially expected. The sector has to address new challenges and opportunities at the same time, right? And part of it is just how to deal with such global events. So pandemics, as you know, they impact everyone. So there's a huge correlation with the economic industry, with the asset side of the balance sheet, as well as the liability side of the balance sheet. So that diversification concept is not there. So it's how to handle something that affects everyone, and that challenge that comes about. But at the same time, actually, it's not to lose sight of, the focus that the insurance industry has always had, which was to close the protection gap, right? To ensure that the difference between economic losses that come from health issues, that come from natural catastrophes, those loss amounts are actually in line with the insured loss amounts that are paid out. And most of the time, there is a huge gap, and that's what we call the protection gap. So the industry really has to continue to focus on closing the protection gap, but at the same time kind of grapple with how to deal with such systemic events like a pandemic. Much like, the industry, you have to deal with some of the short-term issues, right? And lots of the leaders have actually stepped up and ensured that the economy was still running. They looked after all the citizens. They ensured that there was still, economic activity to as best as they could support it while protecting the health of everyone. So that short-term focus was there. The long-term focus that they actually cannot lose sight of is a lot of it driven by the infrastructure investments that need to go on to then benefit the society for the long run. Right. So again, there's a lot of correlations between infrastructure investments that help with GDP growth and the like in the long run. So the correlation is also quite strong there. I think that the governments also really have to understand and kind of understand the risks that they face, right? Whether it's pandemic, whether it's economic risks, whether it's natural catastrophe risks, whether it's an aging society, and really work then with different industries, including the insurance industry, to kind of understand these risks, close the gap. And this is where I guess public-private partnerships come into play, right? So what we'd love to see is ASEAN leaders really embracing public-private partnerships, to bring their understanding, their long-term focus, and partner with industries such as the insurance industry to really, grow different sectors to help the economy as well in the long run.